Hi, my name is Nova, and today we're going to talk about the time when I realized that I was queer and how I just didn't know what to do.
Hello, my name is Oliver and I'm a trans guy who makes videos about LGBTQIA+ people where they get to talk about anything that they want that somehow relates to them being queer. In late May, I spent a day with my friend Nova, who I know because we have similar experiences of church, faith and queerness. We finally sat down and she told me and my camera what it was like for her to fall in love with her now wife Emma when she didn't know that she was queer.
I'm Nova. I'm a queer woman from the west coast of Sweden, and currently I live in Herrljunga at a sort of farm with my wife and my dog and my 2 cats.
And this is why she uses the word queer.
I think I identify as queer because it's so broad. It suits me, it just feels really nice. The thing is, I haven't really put in a lot of thought in it. It's more, I think, it's a good umbrella term for me, and sometimes I call myself a lesbian, sometimes I call myself bi, but the main thing is like, I differ from the norm in a way, so I think queer is quite a good term.
We're going to travel back to her childhood to understand how church and Christianity has affected her.
So when I was young, I was in a child choir in the church, and then when I was older, I went to a place called Cafe XP, and it's like a place for youth to hang out, and like we also read the Bible together, we went to camps together. I remember myself being a very happy person. In hindsight, I can see that I had my anxieties, but I couldn't really put into words what they were. But I remember being a happy person.
After high school, she lived for 6 months in Sydney, Australia.
And I went to Hillsong College. It's like a mega church. And I went to the dance stream in the school and also did the Bible study. And that was really hard for me. I couldn't really pinpoint what it was back then because I was so into the whole thing of everything was so creative, it was so big productions. During the Christmas, there was a big production where people who had taken the course longer in the dance stream, they could audition and then go into this big production of Christmas spectaculars, I think they called it. So I was really amazed of this big church with a lot of young people. It was really creative, it was very much graphic design and a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, and I was really excited when I got there. But throughout the course and throughout being a part of that church, it was just, I just felt so tiny in this big auditorium of thousands of people every Sunday. It's crazy big. And then I got a little sister and I decided to go back to Sweden for 2 weeks. And when I came to Sweden, I just realized that this is the place I'm gonna be. I'm not supposed to be in Australia. What the heck am I doing?
After some time, she started studying something completely different.
I started really spontaneously started a study called Advantage Coach. It's an adventure guide. In this course, I met the most beautiful woman. I think it was around the first days of the course where we had welcoming lunches, and we had it was quite an active course, so we had workouts together, so we ran around and we did push-ups and we did many fun things. And at one point we had a dinner, and I saw I'm gonna make it very cinematic because that's how I remember it. I was upstairs and then I just saw this person coming in, and she had blonde hair and very blue eyes, and I just remember thinking the first thing I thought was I want to be near her, I want to be friends with her, and also I hope she comes sits here. And then she did, which is whenever you think that, that's not gonna happen. Usually when you think that about a person, it's they're in another friend group or whatever. But this time she came around and she was also in my class, and it was just we started talking, and I just remember thinking that she was so extremely cool. She had tattoos, she was carefree and really confident. I also remember that day we had a workout thing on a field. And I started doing headstands, and she just caught on. So that's her first memory of us. But then as the course went on, I was astounded that she wanted to hang out with me too. Because I didn't think that I was so cool. I was in a part of my life where I was not so confident anymore, because I had many things that like tore me down. During this time where I met her and like I got to know her, I also like had to get to know me more on like a deeper level. I had never had a friend like her. Because of my like family troubles during that time, I felt like I needed like physical contact so much more. And when she like reciprocated that and like we started like sleeping over and like we started becoming like really good friends, we like talked about everything. She knew everything about like my troubles at home, and like I got to know things about her private life, and I remember us like sitting in the night like with the blankets like this, just looking at the stars. It's really dreamy. Like when I talk about it, I just remember, and it's like I had that like with the person. And then like we started spooning in the evening, and I remember like being so comforted from this like physical contact. And I remember being like, oh my God, I've never had a friend like this. And I just felt really good around her. And I just felt like whenever, because she usually drove me around like, because I didn't have a driver's license, I didn't have a car, and she lived in her car. So every time like she was gonna drop me off, I was like, I hope we are like getting lost or something so I can spend more time with her. And these are thoughts that I've like recognized in hindsight, like afterwards. She has told me that her friends like asked a lot about us before I was aware of that. And also like that Emma had been like, well, it's not weird to like spoon your friends. And that's like her approach to what it was, because I was a Christian, I was straight in her eyes. So like that wall for her was like entirely closed. But like, when you look at our relationship, how it was, when I look at it now, it's like, come on, come on.
And eventually, Nova finally realized that she was in love.
I wasn't with her at that moment. I was with the classmate. And I think we were studying, like after hours. I wasn't studying, I was painting on a whiteboard and he was studying. So I was like painting different characters on the whiteboard. And I was painting myself. And then I was painting Emma. I joked like, oh, it's wifey and I. Because we usually said that, because like everyone was just joking about that. They also know that Emma was gay. So everyone said that because we were like inseparable at that time. And then when he looked at me, he was like, wifey, is something going on there? And I was just like, what do you mean? And then my face just turned red. And I just recognized my own reaction to that question. And I just started getting like giggly, and I really just didn't know what went on, and I was just saying, no, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And then like slowly, I think some things happened, and like I found myself rolling around on my really close friend to this day, actually, which is really nice that we share this memory. I was rolling around on her floor, and I was like, I can't be in love with a girl. No, I can't be. I can't be. Like other people can, but I can't. And I just remember being so dramatic, and I really like felt like I couldn't connect myself to being in love with a girl. And I remember also saying that, okay, if this is gonna be a thing, it's only gonna be like for fun, because I want to explore it. It could never happen for real. And I get so emotional when I say it now, because we're married. It's so weird, and that's only like 3.5 years ago.
Nova decided to tell Emma about her feelings.
She slept over one night, and I was so extremely giggly. I had decided to tell her how I felt, and I think she knew what was coming, because like it took probably like an hour for her to like pull it out of me. And in the end I said, well, I just think I have like a little bit of like too much emotions for you, or like I have too many feelings for you, or something like that. I think she was like trying to be really like this, but she also said that you already know that I love you, because she had already said that like as friends. So that was like a big moment, and started like, first of all, a period of like tearing down like all of these beliefs that I have been lectured with, basically, just by growing up like in a church, and like in this church, basically, because not all churches are like this. That time was really hard, and I also recognize now like how hard the time was for Emma, because she had to go through like a lot of conversations with me, like both of like my mind thinking that the only reason that I'm in love with her is because like she has made me fall in love with her. Like, that's like the logical reasoning that my mind did, because this was like not logical in that sense, because it's not what I learned. So there were like many conversations, and also it was very rocky. Like, we were very like strong in a sense because we were so good friends before. Like, we knew each other. At the same time we didn't. It was really short. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like, yeah, it was really, really quick. But it felt like we'd known each other for like years. It was really tough to like go through that, and also like the other hour being like so extremely in love and being like, what the heck is happening to me? Like, my heart is telling me this and my brain is telling me this. Like, what should I go for, and like what am I? Basically.
Nowadays, Nova is at a better place.
I think still to this day I have a lot of things that I work on. But I think now I can recognize that these roots are like pulling in me now. Like, I can feel that my brain wants to think this thing now. I think things got better when I realized that being queer is like being part of a community, and I got to like know more people within the community, and I realized that there are so many things here for me to explore, and that was a fun thing. Like, that was something that was like, oh, this is like something that I haven't explored in life. I don't remember like the timeline when that was. Maybe like 1.5 years into our relationship, I felt more confident in myself. Then I could feel more confident in our relationship. We've like had our ups and downs, but I've also been very surprised of like how well we work together. This was also my first relationship, and also going into like an adult relationship and like going into an adult life. I had so many pivotal moments in that time, so I was very like, I feel like I'm still in that part of like being more confident. Of course, I think maybe you'll never get out of that. Well, hopefully you will.
Lastly, if you are in a similar situation, maybe you've just realized that you are queer and have no idea what to do, then Nova's words might help.
I think I would say to try and separate, it's really hard, but try and separate like what your mind is saying and like what your heart is saying. It's so subtle and like so abstract in a sense, but for me it was quite clear like what was happening. It wasn't clear at that moment, but I can see now. And I also thank myself so much that I actually did listen to what my heart was saying. And I think don't be afraid to question your beliefs, even though you're not in the situation that I was in. It's not dangerous to think the full length of a thought, because usually we just think here and then we realize, oh, I'm not supposed to think about this, or like, I already know the answer because someone told me the answer. But then maybe like it's another answer that's actually true. And I think don't be afraid to like question those beliefs, because it's not dangerous to like end up in that answer and then maybe realizing, oh, it wasn't the answer, so I'll just go back to the other one. Like, it's not dangerous to like think through something.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time!